Yeah. I just wanted to be known that I got my little avatar up. What's happening? Straight No Chase of the podcast. We back. Yet another episode. We appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. My name is John. We're back once again, trying to make this happen. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast, available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as well as various other places that you get podcasts from. So,
congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Right. It took me about a year and a half, but I think I finally got it. That said, we got to introduce ourselves. Rasheem, go for it. And what are you drinking?
What up, folk? Rasheem in the house. I'm drinking Uncle Nearest, the 1856. Get the 1856 is dope. What up, Rose? What up, Kelly? What up, Cherie? What up, Jay? What up, Shoshana? We see you all in the comments, and we be bringing those comments up with us. I'm gonna throw it up to my man, my cousin, KG. Cage.
What up, good people? Welcome to another episode of Straight No Chaser, the podcast. And I am drinking tonight. My tequila of choice this evening is Ka Resposado. It is a really good one. And because tonight is a special night, I would like to propose a toast. So, gentlemen, I don't know if y'all know this. Yes, I think y'all do know this, but I received a promotion. I am now a director in my company, which is a big deal because we have never had anybody as an African American as a director in my department. So happy Black History Month to Black History. Salute.
Salute. Congratulations, man. Director level work is some big stuff, man. Congrats. John, Kelly likes your beard. Kelly likes your beard, John. She said, okay, beard.
Okay. Listen, I am actually drinking Jack Daniels. I'm not a super huge drinker, so I don't even have a shot glass. Kids don't do this at home. So yeah, I'm just drinking straight from the bottle, but shot and some ginger beer. Shot in the beer.
And some water.
Keeping it simple. Anyway, Neil might not be able to join us tonight, but we're going to hold it up for him. You know what I'm saying? And other than that, man, what's been happening? How y'all feeling? It's been a couple weeks here. Yes, congrats.
Everything is good. You know, I know I'm feeling good.
Right.
I just want to just jump right on out into it because I know there has been a word that John likes to use oftentimes, this consternation when it comes to all these people who be at the picnic, at the barbecue. We be inviting folk, and I think at some point in time, because he had a very edgy persona. At some point in time, someone had invited Joe Rogan to the barbecue. I don't know.
He had a pass.
He had a pass. And people was letting him slide for a minute. I never even knew who the hell Joe Rogan was. I heard his name, but I know he has a mad platform, mad followers. And then India RE posted something that, a string of clips of him doing something that white folk shouldn't do. Yes, Shoshana, who? So bear with me real quick. I want to share a screen and play for you all. Take that comment down. Play for you all something that Joe Rogan, if you haven't seen it already, give you an opportunity to see it now. Just give me a second.
While we here, so what is the tequila again, KG? Oh, my bad.
It's called Ka.
Here we go.
Here about why I decided to ask my music be pulled off of Spotify. So check this out.
The nigger thing. Yes. Saying the word nigger. I already said nigger. D is just like nigger. Saying nigger. He's calling you a nigger. It's like, boy, he's a nigger. Starts calling him a nigger. Or nigger. There should be a word like nigger, especially like the word nigger. That's our nigger. Niggers. He says nigger. Guy, a nigger. And then our nigger starts saying nigger. Use the word nigger. Out the word nigger. Say nigger. Word nigger. Say nigger. And they couldn't say nigger. Else nigger.
Y'all get it. Y'all get it. So let me ask you, with brother, with the dude, using the N-word so loosely, is that something we should disinvite him to the barbecue over? Are we too loose? We're giving out these passes.
What does that even mean exactly? What does it mean to get an invite to the barbecue? What is
exactly what it means to get an invite to the barbecue?
But you know what? But for those who might be a little lost, he might know what it means. All right, that means that there are white folk out there that have been cool with us and get a pass to roll with us, and in rolling with us, sometimes they get some liberties to do certain things that the average white person wouldn't do. Now, I don't know. Like, I give example. Eminem has gotten a pass to the barbecue, but Eminem would never use the N-word. And he has made it plain, like clear. Right. And he has said it in his raps, like, I wouldn't dare do it.
Right.
That we know of.
If at one point in time, he says, I wouldn't do it if it was recorded out there or somebody heard him say it. I'm pretty sure he would have gotten sparked on it.
I mean, Eminem said it like when he first got started, there was some like tape of him saying it, but in the end, basically, yeah, I feel what you're saying.
So, I mean, does Joe Rogan get his pass revoked? And do we need to start going on and taking a look at the draft, at all the other white people we drafted, and see if we need to start?
Somebody needs to vet this. Somebody needs to vet this damn process because we need some quality control. Like, I don't know who gave Joe Rogan the pass in the first damn place, or where I'm not even invited to the picnic. So
the same people who gave the white comedian, what's his name? Gary Owens. Is that his name?
Gary Owens.
People gave him a pass. You know what I'm saying? Same people who give a pass to the CEO of Netflix because he married a black woman. Same people who give George Lucas a pass because he got a black wife. Same people who give De Niro a pass and Pacino a pass because they like black women.
Right.
Come on now, we be giving out passes.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Dirk gets his. I mean, I don't feel like Joe Rogan has a particular position. I'm somebody that has listened to Joe Rogan's like interviews. He's got some informative interviews or whatever the case is. In my opinion, every white person has said this word or thought it or whatever. And once you start like saying, okay, this one and that one, we going like, now have they said it so publicly with that hard R? No. You know what I'm saying? I have not gone back and done the research or whatever the case is. I'm sure it's some stupidness where he's trying to rationalize it in some kind of way, shape, form, or fashion. I'm all for withdrawing all the invites. I'm just merely saying, if you're going to get rid of all the white people that have ever said that word, ain't going to be no more white people. So, you know, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, let's go in. So I actually did look into this a little bit. This is a video of 12 years worth of content that this dude has produced for his Joe Rogan podcast. Should his past be revoked? And I'm gonna make an interesting argument here. Him saying the N-word is it dissimilar than how Dave Chappelle references to people in the LGBTQ plus community? I'm just asking a question. Is it?
This isn't a conversation about Dave Chappelle.
I didn't say that it was. I'm making a parallel.
That's not what we're talking about.
But
can you deal with it based on America, what we're talking about?
I understand what he's saying.
I'm making a parallel. And if at one point Dave Chappelle was invited and gets disinvited, did this dude get invited and now get disinvited? It's possible. Some people will say, nah. I mean, there are going to be a lot of people in our community that say he shouldn't get his pass revoked for this. And I would venture to say, you know what? All of us have a past we may not be proud of, and we have done some things in our past we may not be proud of, but we have grown.
There's no, what is the parallel?
Let me finish. The thing that he should get his pass revoked on is the comment he made about going to the movies and saying he was going to see Planet of the Apes. And then he said, I was in there with a bunch of apes.
Right.
And he said something about Africa. So his pass should be revoked, in my opinion, more so for that, because that is implicitly racist, as opposed to him trying to rationalize him being in a conversation about something that has overtones of people of color and somebody using the word and he's retorting the word. I think it can strip you with passes being revoked, but we are very liberal with the pass. But he should get rejected, revoked, and castrated potentially for the whole A thing.
And for the people who are coming in late, that we are talking about is Joe Rogan and his loose use of the N-word, and as Cage just alluded to, going to see Planet of the Apes in Philly and being surrounded by a bunch of black people talking about he felt like he was in Africa in the Planet of the Apes. Now, I will say he tried to clean that up, as well as he made recorded an apology. He tried to say that in terms of the movie piece, it was just great to go into the community and be amongst a bunch of black people and watch this movie. It was just, I didn't mean for it to come out as a racial slur, and I enjoyed the movie. So that's who we're talking about.
The other piece too, like it really, some of this firestorm started because of his COVID stance and his kind of hoax with the vaccination piece. So I forget which white artist it was that said they want to pull their music from the Spotify platform. And then how I'll read, who was it? Neil Diamond?
Neil Young.
All right. So then there was the string of people who were like, we want to pull our music too. Now Spotify makes all their money from streaming music. And then they have then taken that money and reinvested it $100 million into this guy's podcast. And they're paying him. And NDRE was like, listen, I'm taking our music off for two reasons. One, because you're paying me pennies and you're giving him $100 million. And then two, because of the string of things that Rasheem just showed. So I believe that people should pull their music until they do something with this guy, because he's just a bad seed at this point. I mean, I'm thinking he's a bad seed. I think he made some comments in his past that he needs to be held accountable for.
I'm not raising my hand. I refuse. No. So what does it mean to like have your invite to the picnic withdrawn? What does that entail? Like what are we going to do to Joe Rogan?
It means cancel. We cancel.
People ain't listening to Joe Rogan like that in the black community.
That's not true. They are paying this dude $100 million.
I said, what are black people going to do to withdraw the invite from the picnic? People don't listen to Joe Rogan right now. That's not listening to Joe Rogan ain't gonna hurt him.
The dude, Andrew Yang, came out initially after the COVID thing came out, and I believe after the string of the N-word videos that Ross showed, and initially came to his defense. Dave Chappelle and him did a couple of shows together. Like they super tight boys. They did some shows in Austin, as a matter of fact. The Rock came out in support of him in the beginning. Now, since this Planet of the Apes video has come out, people are now starting to kind of backpedal and distance themselves from old boy.
The Joe Rogan podcast has over 7 to 10 million followers. We got about 20.
Come on,
not even 1,000.
Only the beginning. Only the beginning.
We got 24 at this point in the stage right now.
Please subscribe to this podcast.
Please.
We got 7 to 10 mil. Come on, now people are listening and following Joe Rogan.
Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Spotify knows their numbers, and they're like, India RE, take your little 50,000 spins or whatever it is that you're doing, because Joe Rogan represents a whole lot more money. Now, if a lot of musicians start doing that, maybe it would matter, but you know.
Well, you know, I think Spotify held Joe Rogan's feet to the fire because he did apologize. He didn't have to do that. And not that I accept the apology as sincere, but he didn't have to make any public statement about it. He could have pulled a Trump, deny and deflect. That's what Trump does. He denies, he deflects until it blows over. He could have pulled that because it works.
I believe his apology around the N-word with the hard R, I believe that was sincere. Mm-hmm. I don't believe his apology around the COVID vaccine piece was sincere. He was outside kind of chilling. This one, he was leaning in, he was like going back. It was very demonstrative in terms of his behavior. But you know, I think his behavior, you know, it can be tied to very similarly, you know, for those that don't know, there was a black former head coach by the name of Brian Flores. Mm-hmm. He was a head coach for the Miami Dolphins, and in football and in that professional sports league, people are familiar with Colin Kaepernick. He kneeled in protest of police brutality a few years back, and the NFL essentially, for all intents and purposes, blackballed him. There's only one black head coach in the National Football League right now. It got so bad that they created a rule that every team, when they had an opening, had to interview someone of color before they could hire someone. Then it didn't improve. So then they started giving people draft picks and incentives to interview and hire someone of color. Brian Flores, he had a winning record, but then he was ultimately fired. In that process of trying to interview for additional jobs, he interviewed for a job at the New York Giants. They all suck. But in the process of the interview, he got a text from a coach by the name of Bill Belichick, who was the head coach of the New England Patriots. In the text, it was a congratulatory text like, hey, I heard you got the job. What Bill didn't know was he texted the wrong Brian. There's a different Brian that got that job. It was before Brian Flores actually interviewed for the Giants job.
Damn.
Bill Belichick said in his text, oops, I fucked up. That's a quote. And at that point, the hailstorm began to occur. And right now, there's a class action lawsuit against the NFL for racist practices, hiring business practices, etc. What I ask is this: should we sue to get equality? Is it a viable option for us as a minority, as Black people in 2022, still needing to use, legal means to get things that should be given to us?
I mean, yeah, hell yeah, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? I think he threw away his entire career. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna get another job in D1 or the NFL, period. And it's messed up.
It's less about him. I'm asking about the process, the avenue in which he's taking.
Right.
Is that the way that we need to go about doing it? Because to your point, if anybody does do that, i.e. a Colin Kaepernick, i.e. Who else is kind of like Muhammad Ali protested and lost the ability to box for a couple of years and then lost millions of dollars by doing this process. Same thing with Colin Kaepernick, same thing with this guy potentially. Like, is that a viable option, a recourse for us if we lose in the short term? Like, that individual will lose.
Yeah, I mean, it's demonstrated that you got to set a precedent or whatever the case is. I don't know if he's going to have a particularly good case or whatever, but yeah, the Rooney Rule is some trash, but you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I was going to say the Rooney Rule was trash, and then it's been watered down to the point where now all they have to do is interview one external candidate for either head coaching or the general manager's position. So they could just grab, a bum out the closet and be like, hey, interview for this job. All right, we fulfilled the Rooney Rule.
Right.
But to the question, should we sue? Absolutely. Because and I look at it also like this. If we don't, while we not suing, the people who don't want to see us thrive, they are using the legal system to create systems that will legally keep us out of certain situations. So while we standing still, they suing and taking the world in a different direction. And now, in effect, because we were standing still, we moved backwards. So no, we should use every legal means. And then on top of that, why not? I mean, America in this experiment is still relatively young. You know what I'm saying? And it's in our time in America as free folk is only
50 years, 60 years.
You're talking about slavery up until 1865. You're talking about sharecropping, all the way up to the early 1900s. You're talking about us not getting our rights until 1950s.
Salute to the ancestors.
Throw it up to the ancestors. Absolutely. People lose sight of the fact that we only been free a few decades.
Right.
So if we have to continue to go back to court to force these people, I mean, you got to understand, anyone who was born before 1980 lived in a world where implicit biases shaped everything they did. So now you got 40 and 50-year-olds in government, in Congress, in the state houses making laws, and their whole experience is rooted in implicit bias. We got to shame them people into doing what's right. And sometimes it takes going to court.
Yeah, I think y'all make some good points. In my research, I'm gonna say now, in my research, outside of the Black experience, I just look to see, like, what other groups have sued for something. And what I looked into was particularly around like Wall Street. So for those that are in business and whatnot, in the 80s, apparently some of the big names, you guys have probably heard of these places: Smith Barney, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley. Women didn't have the ability to kind of move up in their leadership chain. And I just talked about, being a leader in my organization, right? They said between 95 to 2000, women in leadership grew from essentially 29% to 33%. In a matter of numbers, that's a significant shift, all because they did a class action lawsuit because of sexist and biased behavior. So it works. It's a slow process. Clearly, we still got a long way to, all of us, minorities still have a long way to go, no matter which one you want to, put yourself in. We just got to keep chugging, man. Just keep.
But with this Flores thing, but with this, like, what is his goal? You know what I'm saying? This is a lane, by the way. There is nobody talking about sports like that in this area, but we're gonna leave that for later. What is like the end goal for him? What is he trying to do? Because he ain't gonna get no job in the NFL. That's a wrap.
If it's a matter of if they're moving it, and I don't know if they moved it to class action yet, but if they're moving it to class action,
wow,
then he's talking about systemic change.
Yeah.
Because you have the NFL, and what a lot of people don't understand is that the NFL, with all the money that it makes, is recognized as a nonprofit entity in America. They've been able to lobby the government, so they are getting tax breaks that even the for-profit businesses don't get because they are a nonprofit. Maybe their nonprofit status needs to be revoked. When they go into cities and they start building new stadiums because they got a
taxpayer dollars,
stadium, or they got an old stadium and they want to rebuild it, they're getting money from the local government, the state government. So you're using our tax dollars to then discriminate against us? They just doing what America been doing the whole time. So I understand, and people like to put out there about the Colin Kaepernick piece, and it is what this is what they've been doing. But they tried to whitewash it because even with the Colin Kaepernick piece, they entered into an agreement with Colin Kaepernick. He got paid a settlement, and they made sure that the settlement would never come out. Right. And then as a part of that agreement, they also started to do a lot of social justice programming and activities in the community. So it was more than just a commercial here and there. They actually put millions and millions of dollars in the community. But this is their way of saying, look, we're singing and dancing the good tune, but we still getting money. We subsidizing them to be discriminatory, like America. You take our tax dollars. So maybe this class action piece is about systemic change.
Well, you need other people to join it. No matter what if you want to sue in this lane, I'm not remove him from the scenario, but if anybody in any industry want to sue for change, you need other people who have experienced the same types of things to step up and say, you know what, your time be in, me too, right? And if we do that, if anybody does that, then the likelihood of that lawsuit being successful, it grows exponentially.
Roger, when you say they are franchises, to my knowledge, make sure you put in there what you mean. Explain what franchises is and why that's a significant piece.
One of our listeners, he in the comments, for those that are listening to this, he wrote they are franchises to his knowledge, and Ra's asking him to kind of clarify that statement as Ra talks about them being, nonprofit organizations. It's a nonprofit industry.
Mm-hmm. The NFL ain't paying taxes. They're not paying taxes.
All I'm saying is I'm all in on the Washington Commanders as a name, and I hope the nickname is the Commies. I really want them to be known as the Commies. But speaking of generational curses, because being a Washington football team fan is a generational curse.
I believe that. That's a good segue. Nice job
like
there.
That. You like that?
That was nice.
No, I'm 2 for 2 tonight. So, okay. A generational curse is a habit or behavior that is passed down from one generation to another. Now, everybody's got these kind of issues that you might have in your family or that you inherited or whatever the case is. But the question is, how do you break that? You know what I'm saying? That little cycle or action or whatever. Once you kind of know what it is, how do you avoid doing it? You know what I'm saying? Like that pivot.
Say that again.
See, KG is trying to catch me, but you're not going to do it.
Say
All
it
right.
again.
A generational curse is a habit or behavior that is passed down from one generation to another. So if you have generational curses, which I'd imagine most people do, I'm assuming stuff like alcoholism. You know what I'm saying? What else would be a generational?
I got you.
That's what I also consider a generational curse? The lack of knowledge when it comes to financial literacy. Not financial literacy. Right. Not financial literacy, because in the community we have dumbed down financial literacy to credit, checking and savings accounts, and budgeting. I'm talking about wealth creation. Mm-hmm. So this whole idea of building wealth, that's a generational curse. Because at one point in time, we were able to build wealth.
Is a generational curse.
Not the lack thereof. The lack thereof.
Okay.
Not. Of course, if you building wealth, that ain't a curse. It's a good thing. But at a point in time, we had land, and we did business, and that was generations ago. And then when we talk about what America has done and America's citizens have done, they've swindled us out of land. They've stolen land from us. They killed us for our land. They bombed our businesses.
Right.
And then a generational understanding had become, you can't get ahead in this world. Ain't nothing you can do. The white man ain't gonna never let you live. And then we pass that down sometimes to kids. So now the kid is sitting there like, I don't need to excel. I don't need to study anything about wealth building. I think that's a generational curse.
Okay. So I guess, but the question is how do you, once you kind of know that, how do you break that generational curse? You know what I'm saying? How do you move beyond that? Is it possible to do that? Is this whole thing just like some mumbo jumbo pop psychology that somebody made up?
Rose is calling you out, John. She's saying y'all had that convo.
So
Rose, can you keep our business off of the podcast? No, I'm playing. I mean, we probably did. I've talked about this in the groups or whatever the case is many, many times. Y'all probably know how I feel about this.
Cage.
Generational curses.
Cage was about to say something. I cut him off. I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't know what y'all talking about with Rose. I'm lost now, so y'all keep going. I got
to be a hoe. Why you gotta be a hoe, man? Say what was on your mind.
I mean, man.
Wow.
Hey. Okay,
so you could get canceled over using that word.
That's why I said I apologize.
You know what? We got
don't even use that word.
I was being defensive.
Cut that out. We're gonna cut that out.
Yeah. Say that again now. I forgot what I was about to say. What you want me to say?
Look, I think this generational curse piece is something that does need to be looked at, does need to be talked about, does need to be identified. Like we can't.
Oh, I got it now.
Okay, good. I'll stop.
Yeah.
Let you go.
Yeah, you was talking about financial. I'm just saying, like, so generational curses, we have them for a number of reasons, right? Our diet, our financial literacy, and I'll use financial literacy because I think that's a more broad term, but wealth management, mental, I know, right? And how do we break it? To John's question is we got to talk about it, right? We can't hide behind, saying that it's happening and thinking about it, but we did talk about the people in our family that do weird things. And I've expressed and shared on this platform that I was molested, right? By somebody that my family trusted. That's a generational curse. Like that happens across several generations where people just don't talk about those experiences. We talk about mental health. Black people, they have been studies that you can pass trauma along. And if anybody has experienced trauma, it's people that look like all of us on this platform. So we need to be able to articulate, address, and be comfortable with pursuing the work that's necessary to break those curses, and then be willing to pass along something different to our children. Okay.
Do you consider spanking children wrapped up in that generational curse piece?
Oh man, that's a good one.
We going there. We going there.
We still talking about generations, right?
No Chase podcast.
What'd you say?
It can be. It can be. Spanking and discipline is not the same thing as spanking, right? You can spank your child, but I think what we experienced, a lot of us, was beatings, right? Like get a switch, get the extension cord. That's getting your ass beat. And I had that too. I don't do that with my children. But getting spankings, I don't really know if that's the same thing. I think if even while you said something along a couple of podcasts ago, or really several of them ago, around when we got to college, we kind of just throw ourselves to the wolves. That doesn't create wealth. And when you said it, it triggered a thought in my mind, like, he's right. We got to look at how we live differently, which is why I get massages, I get manicures, I get pedicures, I pamper myself. I'm just saying, we got to live in a comfortable fashion. And we are used to living in this hard blue collar. We got to, tough it out all the time. I mean, I think to me, that's a generational curse. That's a mindset.
A lot of people in the comments is talking that yes, spanking is passed down from slavery. Yes, it's a generational curse. Yes, spanking can be traumatic. Shoshana, she put in the comments that she was not spanked, but her cousins were in her age group. The ones who were in her age group were. Shoshana, if you could put in the comments if those cousins have children, whether or not they spank their children, if just kind of add that to the discussion, because sometimes that's what it's about, like being passed on. Well, I got beat. Listen, and I'm using spanking and beating interchangeably. That's what I'm doing.
This is one of those topics that people feel how they feel. I get all that. I have definitely used corporal punishment in my lifetime. I've used it. It's been used on me. If the situation requires it, absolutely. That is something that I do. Not necessarily. That's a nuclear option kind of thing. And I have not had to do it or whatever. We've kind of figured out different things that we need to do. But whatever I got to do to get through to you, that whatever you did, you cannot do, I'm going to do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? And in the end, I'm responsible for these children. I'm going to do what I feel like we got to do. I'm not talking about abusiveness. I'm not talking about, over the top extension cords. That's over the top. Racing track, Hot Wheels tracks, brooms and irons and all this other madness. That's over the top. I'm not talking about
closed fists.
With closed fists, and you people know what the difference is. But like, I'm a firm believer in, for example, calisthenics. Y'all know my son Jackson. Jackson's 19 years old. Jackson's been doing push-ups in order to get through to you. To me, that like I got to figure something out. Jillian does the same thing. Whole point being, there's got to be a limit to certain things. You know what I'm saying?
Like, to be honest, life as a parent, I would say, and even as an adult, we recognize that in life there are consequences for your actions, and depending on what your action is, the consequence and the severity of the consequence, there's a range of what it can be. If you do something you shouldn't be doing, it's like, stop, put that down. And if you could do something so egregious, you can be put to death. So we have, as parents, you got to figure out how to navigate that space of what's an appropriate consequence for said infraction that your kid does, so that when they get out into the world, who's going to be much less kinder to them, how to navigate that space in an appropriate way so they don't get themselves hurt or get themselves in a bind. So I understand, at least historically, why people would spank it, so like you don't get yourself in no real trouble. However, now we know better. We got a little bit more examples to kind of think outside or broaden our range of discipline than we did in years past.
Yeah, Tina Cole brought up a good point in the comments. She said your boss doesn't spank you when you miss a deadline. Like,
it's not the same thing. That's not even a equitable.
It almost sounded like the spanking sets you up for consequences to be prepared for them when they come. So the idea is the spanking the same thing as consequences in the real world outside of the household? So I can see that, but just to make sure we can keep it tight with the with this whole generational curse piece.
Mm-hmm.
There is a frame of thinking that yes, spanking can be passed down as a generational curse, so that if you do it, there may be a greater chance that your child is doing it, and that in that piece, you could be passing down this experience, a traumatic experience where a child is being hit by an adult and the child's mind cannot properly process that as a kid and may not connect it to discipline, but once they grow old, may then connect it to abuse, even though you may not think it was abuse. So I want if we could button that up, because I know we got to move forward.
Yeah.
I know
real quick. A butt whooping without dialogue is abuse. If you get a butt whooping with conversation to help understand why this consequence took place, I think that's discipline. I'll leave it at that.
My job is to raise my children to the best of my ability. I'm going to do that. Whatever I got to do is what I got to do. People gonna deal.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna jump out there and just do this. Thank y'all for listening. You know what I'm saying? We are Straight No Chaser. If you want to email us, y'all, listen, you can email us at straight with an 8 no chaser 23. That's STR8 NO chaser 23 at gmail.com. Shoot us an email. Let us know some topics you want to hear, you want us to talk about, or if you need some advice on something, we will happily give you our advice on things. I'm not saying you should take it, but we'll happily give it. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, because we're not jumping off of Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. With that said, let's roll into the next topic.
Yes, the next topic.
And since, I'm on a roll with it, let me go on a roll with it.
Roll with it.
Because, John, I want to talk about your boy.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I want to talk about your boy, Joe Biden.
I thought, really, can we discuss the Donald Trump thing? Because, we're going to talk about Biden, but...
I'll put it up there. Donald Trump, we had a bet that Donald Trump, by the 21st of 2022,
right,
I said he would be indicted, convicted, and on his way to jail.
Right.
That didn't happen.
You were wrong.
Everybody $5 on the screen, and even Neil, who isn't on the screen. So
love it. So, but I kind of want to hear you say that I was right. You
was right.
Thank you. Okay, moving on.
I was the only one that was wrong up to this point.
True.
And no, Matthew, we're not. He asked if we were live on IG. We're not live on IG. This does not connect up to IG for us to go live. so we're not there. The tech
Shout out
hasn't
to
worked
IG.
out for that. But on to topic, what's up with Joe Biden? How y'all feeling about him?
C plus.
You said what?
C plus.
Oh wow.
C plus. A little bit better than average. I feel like him and Barack running neck and neck as far as accomplishments at this point in their respective terms.
Neck and neck?
I would roughly say so, yeah. Nothing about Joe Biden inspires passion. I think that he is probably, a caretaker kind of president. And he's just trying to hold the line and hope that somehow the Democrats can manage to avoid this tidal wave that's coming in November. And, just trying to hold on. That's all he can do. But if here's one thing, we can double up on the bet, Ra. He is going to nominate a black woman as a Supreme Court justice.
You
And
know that.
she's going to be the most conservative, law and order, hammering crime ass black woman that they can find to put on. She's going to be conservative as hell. That's my little take on Joe Biden.
Listen, they're gonna do it. They need to do it right now because in November, he ain't gonna have nobody to do it with.
Nobody.
If I give him a grade, man, I'm gonna give him an F.
Damn. Wait a minute. I thought I was gonna be the lowest.
No, you're gonna be an F, man. Listen, man, I'm thoroughly unimpressed with Joe Biden. He is
Cheers to that.
Man, hey.
Well, I'm surprised. Okay.
Joe Biden, his COVID response has been lucid at best. In the beginning, he had a decent strategy, but I would say in the grand scheme of things, it's failed. The CDC's recommendation, when they rolled things out, that's been a cluster. When I think they just fired somebody because of inappropriate activity, somebody that was the head of a department. I feel like it was in like the CDC or the Department of Health, one of those places. He just resigned. When I think about his administration as a whole, it is thoroughly confusing. The people who really thought that he would make some type of significant impact socially, like from a social justice perspective, that didn't happen. Student loan stuff, that ain't happen. His bipartisan agenda.
I will raise his grade to an A+ if he does away with student loans. That's all he got to do. If he says student loans is out of here, you the best president of all time. Joe Biden, you immediately getting your second term. Let's keep it 100, please.
He's not immediately getting the second term. Y'all be killing me. Y'all be killing me with this.
Wait a minute. It's KG this time because I thought I was going to be the lowest one. I'm kind of surprised, man, for real.
Look, how about this?
He actually, right now, he's rated worse than 45 was at the same time in his presidency.
Damn. So wait a minute, Rob. What is your grade? What is the grade? What is your grade?
I give him a B. I give him a B-.
Okay, B-, C+. We're saying the same thing.
It's not the same thing. I give him a B-. And when I think about student loans, no, he did not walk in and say everybody's student loans forgiven. He didn't do that. What he did walk in and do, because he can't govern as a progressive.
Oh, here they go.
He can't.
Damn.
He can't. He ran as a progressive, and I fault him for that. But he can't govern as a progressive. Simple thing.
Why?
I'm about to tell you why. Yeah, you must skip civics class in high school. Oh. Anytime your Senate is split 50-50, you do not have one president. You have 51 presidents. Because at any point in time, one person in the Democratic Party can stand up and be like, I don't like those policies. I don't like what you're proposing. So I'm not voting for it.
Right.
And at that point, everything you want to do is derailed. If one does it, guess what we have? Two of them. Mm-hmm. We got two who are like, nope, I'm going to be president on this issue, and you're not going to get my vote. So you can't do nothing in terms of passing law if you can't get all of those 50 to vote in favor for it.
So you saying the system is broken? You saying the system is broken?
The system is broke. It's been broke.
Let me ask this question.
But it's not broke. It's doing exactly what it was meant to do.
Let me ask this question.
No. Before we go there, let me tell you why I give him a B minus.
Hit
Because these are
that
things that he
quote.
has done. He can delete 10,000. All right. So what he has done.
Answer your
What he has done, because I meant to talk about that. He has made it so that the education department could forgive billions of dollars in student loans by using a system that's been put in place that wasn't working. So what he did is he changed the system. He changed the application process. He pretty much said, anybody who wants to get their loans forgiven, fill out this form, put it in, show you've worked in these places, and we'll forgive your loans. So he's trying to get, I think he's trying to get a little bit of it done then,
right?
That way, so he doesn't have to look progressive by just with the flick of his pen doing away with student loans. But in terms of his successes, he did get a $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure deal passed. That's money. He did get $1.9 trillion in COVID relief. Ultimately through. You can't do nothing without the money.
True.
He did have the highest appointed number of federal judges since Reagan at this point than any other president. That's a win. He put a halt on federal executions. For people who don't like the death penalty, I am one of them. That's a win. There was a 17-year freeze on federal executions. Trump came in office, was like, nah, forget that. Start killing them again. So he put a halt on it.
Right.
What does this have to do with
it? Always talking about what the Democrats can't do.
The transgender community stuff. Like he has done things.
What does that have to do with the people that placed him in office?
You know what it has to do?
The black people.
I'm gonna tell you why. Go ahead, black people.
Black people. That's right.
Black people.
That's
who got him elected. There's no crime bill.
Yes.
It hasn't even been presented.
Yes.
And I don't understand why. I do understand why you giving this dude a B plus. You said a B plus or a B minus?
I said B minus.
B minus. I get it. I mean, you kind of live in that world a little bit. I'm a little bit more less forgiving.
What world I live in? What are you talking about?
I mean, you're more politically forgiving.
Where is he at on reparations?
It's not politically forgiving.
We don't need. I don't think we need reparations. That's all we did with PPP money.
Look. It's not about being politically forgiving, because I don't forgive him for the things he has not done.
I hate y'all.
But what I am doing is I do recognize when you take unemployment from damn near 10% to just under 4%, that means there are a lot of black people who are now working.
Wait a minute, did he do that?
When you look at the fact, inflation is growing the fastest it's been in the last I don't know how many years.
But that's because of what we have been doing up to this point. He's only been president for 14 months.
I think he got early onset dementia.
You need to tell me in 13 months he's going to be able to turn around all of the bad stuff we've been doing for years. Y'all are stupid to think that. And I'm sick and tired of people thinking 13 months with a 50-50 split, he's supposed to be God. Y'all are dumb. We got low unemployment. Wages are rising faster than ever before. And you silly people talking about
man, we love to hear that shit. What you talking about?
Y'all stupid. Man, you able to get your company is able to create the positions, to give you the money, to give you the raise, because those are connected to policies that have been done.
Right.
Y'all are stupid. Get out of here with that
you
dumbness.
stupid believing this dude got a.
Why are you so mad? Why are you so mad?
Because, man, I'm sick and tired of y'all simple-minded people looking at small things and not looking at the big picture.
A B minus. A B minus? Come on, man.
He said
B minus.
He said a B minus.
Yeah.
That man is old as damn Mayberry.
Methuselah. Living Methuselah.
No, seriously.
Anyway.
No, seriously. I think sometimes he has he forgets things. He's in his 80s. Isn't he like the oldest president?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
I mean, I'm just saying, sometimes.
You got me hot again. Y'all stupid.
He needs to sit his old ass down.
Wipe your forehead.
Well, okay.
Hey, listen, man, check this out. I'm going to pivot. I'm going to do a quick little pivot.
Yeah, right. He helped create some of the bad stuff. I've done a lot of bad stuff in my life, and you probably have too, Matthew. You gonna hold that against yourself?
We haven't even gotten into the crime bill aspect of his life. We ain't even gonna talk about
exactly.
Hey,
I understand
I
that.
just said, hey, gentlemen, I said I'm going to pivot. I'm a pivot.
Pivot.
I'm sorry, pivot.
All right,
Pivot.
all right.
Take us out of this
2022.
dumbness.
We're in our 40s.
True.
My new thing. I like tequilas, right? So let's get into our vices. Let's get a little messy. Let's get into our vices. What are your vices? What do you use your vices for? And let's keep it a buck. I see you got your hand in your face, John. You can talk about that too. But let's talk about vices and what you do to. What are you doing for? Like, what is your vice there to cope with?
I talk about this in therapy.
Yeah, you ain't gonna like my response. I'm sorry, I let that slide on the topic list because I really wasn't paying attention to it. My vices are: I like to breathe oxygen. I like to eat food. Occasionally, I will put clothes on to walk out the house. In other words, on Al Gore's internet ain't the place for me to air my vices. Ain't none of y'all goddamn business.
Wow.
You don't want to tell you I like to snort coke and hookers? No, that ain't none of y'all business.
See, you know what? Ra's on one right now, people.
Rod drunk right now.
Ra's a little upset.
Tipsy.
I like coke and hookers. Yeah, let's talk about vices.
Oh,
Ain't none of y'all damn business.
Oh God! Yeah, go ahead,
I
Rod.
hope our producer
Keep going,
does not
Rod.
edit
Keep
that
going.
out.
Go ahead, let it out.
Let it happen. One of my vices, I have been told that I can be very difficult to. Nobody can tell me anything. You know what I'm saying? I've been told that it's very hard to say, John, do this. For whatever reason, I tend not to do that thing. So that's I don't know what vice that, like, in my mind, when I think vice, I think biblical. You know what I'm saying? So what is it? Greed, avarice. I forget the other one. Sin. What is it? Greed, avarice, envy. You know what I'm talking about, Rob. Y'all know. You know what I'm talking about.
Deadly sins.
You talking about the 7 deadly sins?
Yes. So in other words, when I think of a vice, that is what I go to. So like gluttony, you know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. That's what I think of when I think of a vice. So like, I also have a tendency to make everything a joke, and people don't know when I'm serious and when I'm not. So sometimes I could be having a very, very heartfelt, serious moment, and they'll be like, "Are you serious? Are you joking?" You know what I'm saying?
That's a great question. Is that a vice or a character trait? Nicole wants to hear you talk about your vices. Go on, tell these people you like to shoot bubble gum in your veins.
I like to gamble. For people that don't know me, I like to gamble. I'll be the first one to say that. I would imagine that of our little group, I am the most risk. What is the opposite of averse? Whatever that word is.
Risk accepting. I don't know.
There you go. Risk accepting group person. You know what I'm saying? So I like to gamble. I love, I want to get a motorcycle. So, I like to drive fast.
That ain't a
Your vice is thrills. You're a thrill seeker.
Do we need to look up? Do we need a definition?
Yes. We need to look up. I've been told that I can be very reckless. I've been told this. I've been told I'm arrogant.
Vice, it says it's immoral or wicked behavior.
As we sit here and drink liquor.
That's my vice, alcohol.
Yeah.
Really?
Your vice, it says immoral or wicked behavior.
Go ahead.
Somebody in the comments said
vice
the vice is porn.
Go ahead, Nicole.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Lisa, vices to cope with stress. That was actually in our production notes. Using vices to cope with stress.
I would say my vices are the ones I'm willing to share. I would say are really working out at this point.
Nick, stop. Cut it.
Wait.
Cut it.
What's the next topic? Because
I don't understand why would I say some stuff.
He said,
sounds like going to a job interview and ask you, what's your weakness?
No,
I like to work so hard. That's my weakness. Shut up.
Hey man, you gonna stop being disrespectful, man. I don't know what you've been drinking on over there.
It's all of it. It's going in.
Hey, listen,
Vice
it
is
says vice is illegal
and
or immoral behavior. I don't. My vice at that point would be drinking too, right? So it's drinking.
Everybody got something.
Yeah, you know, I think drinking. I think I have grown up on adult entertainment, like movies. I still watch them.
Wait a minute, is porn a vice?
Well, if people consider it to be immoral, then
how?
Because we live in a society that shames and demonizes sex and sexuality. So
in America,
in this society, that would most certainly be seen as a vice. It's a Puritan society. But the interesting thing about this society, I think porn is like a $7 billion a month industry. Like for a society to be like, ooh, they be making money.
Okay, keep it real. Last time you looked at some porn, has it been within the last week?
Yeah.
No, not for me. Not within the last week.
Nope.
John, what was it? Yesterday? No, before you hopped on.
It is not. No, see, don't do that. Don't do that.
He did it before he got on the show.
Nope.
Hey, can I tell a story?
Why not? At this point, I mean,
hey, check this out. All
what
right.
does it have to do with?
So we talk about vices, and so quick story, quick John story.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We used to live in this house, right? And so we didn't have no locks on our doors. If we did, we never used them. So John he used to always have this white robe, a white robe. He would walk around in his white robe or whatever. And one day, it was the middle of the day, man. Middle of the day. I had no idea what was going on. I just went to John's room, opened the door. His hands, like, you know, his back's to the door, and someone on TV.
Come on.
Yeah, he may not want the rest of that story told.
Wait a minute, what is you talking about? You said you said back in the day. No,
nah, don't put him on blast like that unless he can co-sign that one.
Whoa. Yeah. I don't even know.
We might need to start sharing story time with each other because some stuff.
I asked if it's okay to tell a story,
but people may not want that particular story told.
My thing is,
that's a slippery
I
slope.
have never see what Keltrick is referring to, y'all. He's trying to say that he walked in on me masturbating. Number one, that never happened. Never happened. Now,
never happened?
I might have had on my robe, and I might have. Number one, that's the problem. Why are you just bursting into my damn room?
We did it to everybody's room.
See, you see where this is going, America? Don't do that. No, it didn't happen, people.
Oh God,
it did not happen. So,
oh well.
Don't give me any emojis.
I was watching TikTok. I'm getting really into this TikTok thing lately. I was watching this one TikTok, and this dude, army. So he got an army roommate, and the black dude is kind of pulling out his clothes and laying it out on the chair to kind of show how he flossed, and his roommate is behind him, beating off in his shorts on camera. And it got posted to TikTok. He didn't see his man back there.
I mean, you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. That's not a vice. I don't know how we got here. I don't know how one thing leads to another. Porn is not a vice. Number one.
In America, it is.
You are in your own head. When you like, listen to how brainwashed y'all are, man. Because you was like, in America, it is. America ain't in your bedroom with you, you know, or it shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what you're doing.
But America tries to be in your bedroom with you. They tell you, the government try to tell you who you can sleep with, who you can marry. They try to tell you who you can have kids with, how you can have kids. They try to tell you how you can dress. The America be trying to tell you everything about what you do in your bedroom, because that's, you know, French philosopher Michael Foucault said, if you can control a people, sexuality, if you can control their sexuality, you can control that people. And that's always been the case. They try to tell us what to do with our bodies and what to do with our genitalia.
Say the philosopher again.
Michael
Straight ice. That's pitiful. So I was allegedly told, oh, y'all was like, oh, it's straight no chaser. We got to drink throughout the show. But now
still drinking.
Hey, whatever. Okay. So
I drink mine before the end of the second topic. I'll be done. That's my vice. I don't sip on alcohol.
This is light. Y'all know this is light.
And I drink and keep drinking. I
got a whole bottle right here. I've been drinking.
We don't have nothing to prove. I'm just merely saying we doing this. And you know what, man? Salute to us because we finally doing some good shit. It's been a good 20 plus years.
That's real.
You in this too? What's my man? Frank, Big Frank. Shit. Ja. All of the above.
Molima Capital.
So
okay.
Hey John.
I got another one.
What you got?
Music that I really need y'all to listen to. Okay. Hot shit. Beyond the Jasmine Sullivan album, which is thus far the album of the year. We all agree on that, right? We on board with that. Okay, cool. I don't know if I've ever mentioned him on this show before. His name is French Kiwi Juice. Also, don't do that. Don't do Listen.
French Kiwi Juice.
Yeah. No, for real.
God.
His name is
these comments.
Look for seriously, internet. Look for FKJ. His music is dope, and I'm just merely saying people need to check him out. French Kiwi Juice. Internet miss me with the emojis. People kill me with these emojis. Listen, okay, chill out. So, French Kiwi Juice.
What's his name again?
French Kiwi Juice. That's his stage name. That's his stage name. He goes by FKJ. Hold on. Hold on.
Don't play it, man.
Real quick. No, this is dope. For those that don't know, I got
to hear it, man. Don't play it.
Music. Hold on, man.
Don't play
it. I've definitely played this for y'all before.
No. Don't play it. We don't have the rights to the music.
Oh, that's right.
Exactly. Don't
French
play
Kiwi Juice. Y'all check that out.
Samantha is talking about his dope, and she loves
Samantha Smith. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but y'all, I think you and Samantha from Texas, right? Samantha's from Texas. Y'all Texas folks. So y'all probably have the same type of,
My man said,
"Yo, it is shocking.
First of all,
time instrumental to the black culture. People sleep on Houston.
Time out. This dude said with a straight face, music that's in your ear, French Kiwi Juice.
That's his name. He goes by FKJ.
Okay. Well, I'll give you one too. Her name is Leia. Laya. She has a song called Sailor Moon. Check it out. New artist from the up in New York. So check it out. Good song.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of interested in I'm kind of interested in seeing what Tank is gonna do with his new release. I know it's a little. He got something I think coming out called R&B Money, and the only reason why I'm interested in that because back in the day he had this one album, Love, Sex, Pain. I think that was the name of the album.
That was hot.
It was dope, and everything since then was wah. And then he had the album with the Savage joint that dropped on it. He had about 3 or 4 tracks on that was dope. He had a track with Ludacris on it.
Yo, Rod, you put me on.
I don't know what you're showing.
That's French Kiwi Juice.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. FKJ. Yo, Rod, I will give you props because you was listening to Brian McKnight back in the day, and I would be like, man, Brian McKnight, that's that old video ass whatever. But that Back at One album, that shit right now, it sounds amazing. You was right on. I got to give it to you. Salute, Brian McKnight.
Salute to R&B.
We need to come back to R&B. R&B needs to come back for real.
R&B ain't never went nowhere. There's so many
Facts,
good
it's still here.
songs out right now.
Okay.
Yeah, Anne Marie.
Anne Marie.
You know?
Anderson .Paak.
Anderson .Paak. Yo, that
Are we going
Sonic
to the
crew,
picnic?
they just did a cover of Confunction's Love Train.
It's nice.
Yo,
Very
what's
nice.
the Roots Picnic? I'm trying to do the Roots Picnic, man.
So, fellas,
What happened with that?
you want to roll into that your favorite thing, John?
Yes. This is our oh shit, it's over an hour, man. Okay, so it is time for us to do our one recommendation for the people, right?
Yeah.
One recommendation for the people, and this time in honor of Black History Month. Every month is Black History Month on Straight No Chaser, the podcast, which is available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We don't give a damn if Joe Rogan is there or not. That said, this is sponsored by Black History Month. So do you have one book that you can recommend for the people, or wait a minute, what do we say? One book or a favorite movie? Wait a minute, what?
No, it was just
a book. Book by a Black author.
Black author.
That you're going to recommend for the people.
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Black Rabisi. I say it every week. That's my one book for the people. I'm not recommending nobody else's book.
Big fan.
I know y'all done read this.
Right.
Especially if you like suspense. If you don't like suspense, even people who don't like suspense read the book and be like, yo, that is dope.
Facts.
So check out Black Rabisi, especially before Broken Brotherhood come out. It is
by
fiction.
who?
It is
who is
suspense.
it by?
Oh, it is written by a phenomenal author by the name of Rashim Rook.
What's the publishing company?
The publishing company is Roxbury Warburton Media LLC.
Right.
So independently published.
Bam.
Support the boy.
When does Broken Brother come out?
Right. Broken Brotherhood. Right now, I'm working with a June 7th, 2022 release date. But I may push that back depending on the schedule of my copy editor. My copy editor has got a lot of stuff going on, and I want to make sure that she can get it to me and we can review it in the right amount of time. So if it don't come out beginning June, it'll come out by the end of June.
Facts.
Thank you, Elaine. Can't wait for you to read that second novel too.
There you go.
Hey, I endorse that recommendation. It is a fantastic book. I read it when I was in Hawaii, and I was like, yo, I think I texted you like, yo, you got some on your hands here, fam. You got some on your hands. I'll recommend a book about somebody I went to high school with. It's a book called Chocolate and Semi-Sweet. It was a dope book. The author's name is Katrina Ross. It was an excellent read. I was like, I had no idea she was even as talented to write a book like that, but it's a good read if you into that kind of thing.
But what kind of thing is it? Is it a romance? Is it a spy novel? You ain't telling me.
Probably more like an erotic type novel type joint. It's really good though.
To tie in something, is it porn if you read it or if you watch it? Does it matter? We'll cover that on the next show. I'm gonna give y'all something real quick. This is the run of the Black Panther written by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Did I pronounce his name correctly?
I don't know. People be saying Ta-Nehisi. I don't know.
This was dope. This was the run. People might not know this, but he wrote some of issues of the Black Panther. I want to say that this was like a whole new series. You know what I'm saying? And it's actually very interesting. He kind of delves into the politics of Wakanda, and it gets real deep. If you into kind of world building type of comics, if you like Lord of the Rings, what's my Game of Thrones type books, you know what I'm saying? It's very, very interesting. The run of Black Panther by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Very dope. Bam.
All right. So
there you go. Our recommendations for the people, because we are a people-oriented show. We love you. We appreciate you coming here. You know, please like, share, subscribe to this show. Tell your friends about us. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be here on a regular basis every 2 weeks. You know, if you have some topics that you want us to discuss, what is our email address? One more time, Ra.
It is Str8 No Chaser 23 Str8 No Chaser 23 at gmail.com.
There is some symbolism in that name, people. So, I mean, that's roughly it, man. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all. Neil, shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? That's it, baby. Every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks.
We are live.
We are live every 2 weeks.
The live is every 2 weeks. There you go. The live is every 2 weeks. And on that note, ladies.
In closing out, y'all.
Right.
Peace out. Thanks for listening. Christina in the comments mentioned that we have 24 hype followers, hype listeners, as we call y'all chasers, because we straight no chaser, and y'all with us. Yes, y'all are hype. We love it. Appreciate the interaction and all that good stuff.
Yo, this has been
Happy
amazing.
Friday Eve.
I love this.
In 2 weeks ain't that long. It'll be okay. But you'll always be able to catch up with us weekly if you go to Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Lastly, KG.
Hey, man, let's raise up and raise the out.
With that said, special shout out to our production squad, our production Dana.
Oh, my fault.
Danilo, you're gonna have to help me, Dana, with the name. All of us. That's Makita Filmworks. You got to get down with Makita Filmworks. She's the bomb. And then our original theme music that you hear in the countdown, in the intro, outro. Got to shout out our brother Midnight Michael. He's the one who put all that together for us, and it's dope. If you ain't catch the intro, catch the intro.
Catch the outro too,
and catch the outro. And speaking of outro, y'all ready to be out, fam?
Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone between and beyond that binary understanding. This has been Str8 No Chaser, the podcast. We appreciate you. I don't think we got anything else left to say, baby. That's it.
Boom.
Cheers to you. Salute.
Let's get a couple more of these comments out. All right. Comments are out. Family.
Yeah, we appreciate the audience, man. Rose Johnson. Amazing.
Come on, man. Please go to comment.
4, 3.
Whoa, I'm sorry.
2, 1, and